Have you ever felt like your home was truly alive? I don't mean just creaks and groans in the night. I mean really, truly alive, watching over you. I live in a little house tucked away in the misty woods of Oregon. It's nothing grand, just a simple place, but it's mine. Or rather, I feel like I'm its. It started subtly. I'd come home after a long day, tired and cold from the damp Oregon air. As I'd walk up the gravel path, before I even had my keys out, the porch light would flicker on a warm, welcoming beacon in the twilight. At first I thought it was just a faulty sensor, something easily explained away. I even had an electrician check it out. He found nothing wrong, just an old house, he'd said with a shrug. But then, other things started happening. On chilly evenings, I'd step inside, and a wave of warmth would greet me. The thermostat, which I always left set at a conservative 65 degrees, would be cranked up to a cozy set too. The electric heater in the living room would be humming softly, its orange glow painting the walls. The hallway light became my faithful companion. There were no sensors, no smart hubs, no voice commands. There was just the house, and me. I started talking to it. I know, it sounds strange, but it felt so natural. "You're keeping me so warm," I'd say, patting the wall on a stormy evening as the wind howled outside. I never got a reply, not in words, but I felt a response, a sense of calm, of contentment, that settled deep in the wooden bones of the structure. My friends thought I was losing my mind, just a little. "It's old wiring, Jen," my friend Sarah would say over the phone. "You're just imagining things, you're lonely out there." Maybe she was right. I did live alone. The quiet of the forest could play tricks on the mind. But the feeling was too real, too consistent. The house felt like a guardian, a silent, benevolent entity that had chosen me as its resident. Every night, the routine was the same. I'd get home, the porch light would greet me. I'd step inside to a warm embrace. The lights would guide my path. When I went to bed, I'd say goodnight to the house, and in the deep silence that followed, I could almost feel it settling down for the night with me, its watch beginning. I slept better there than I ever had in my life. I felt safe. I felt cared for. Then came the night I didn't come home. I was driving back from visiting my parents a few towns over. It was late, and a thick, soupy fog had rolled in from the coast, blanketing the winding country roads. It was treacherous. I was driving slowly, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, peering into the dense grey mist. One moment, the road was there, and the next, a deer leaped out of the gloom. I swerved. The car skidded on the wet asphalt, spun around, and slammed backward into a ditch. The jolt was violent. My head hit the side window, and for a moment, the world was just a swirl of exploding stars. When my vision cleared, I was dazed. The car was dead, the engine silent, the headlights swallowed by the fog. My phone had no signal. I was stranded. Back at home, the house waited, at its usual time, just as dusk settled over the forest. The porch light clicked on, cutting a hopeful square of yellow into the encroaching darkness. An hour passed, the living room heater switched on, its coils beginning to glow, ready to chase away the chill for its owner who was surely on her way. The hallway light remained off, patiently waiting for the sound of a key in the lock, for the familiar creak of the front door, but the door never opened. The sound of my car never crunched up the gravel driveway. The house waited, the porch light stayed on, a lonely vigil against the night. The usual time I went to bed, the time when the house would usually settle into a quiet slumber, passed. But tonight was different. The house stayed awake. All through the night, every light in the house turned on. The kitchen light, the bedroom light, the little lamp on my bedside table. The house blazed with light. Every window a bright rectangle against the dark, foggy woods. It was a beacon, a desperate, silent shout into the void. "She's not home," it seemed to cry. "Something is wrong." My nearest neighbor, Mr. Henderson, lived about a half-mile down the road. He was an early riser. My little house lit up like a Christmas tree in the pre-dawn gloom. He knew my habits. He knew I was frugal with electricity, but I was always in bed by 11. Seeing my house blazing with light like that, he knew instantly that something was amiss. He tried calling my phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Worried, he got in his truck and drove over. He found the house empty but warm. The air inside was thick with a strange energy, a palpable sense of anxiety. It was Mr. Henderson who called the sheriff. The sight of the flashing police lights was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. When they told me it was my neighbor who had raised the alarm because my house was lit up, I just started to cry. I wasn't crying from the pain or the fear. I was crying with a profound, overwhelming sense of gratitude. When I finally got home the next afternoon, my head bandaged, feeling shaky and sore, the house was quiet, the lights were off, the heater was silent. As I walked up the path, the porch light flickered on, just like always. I put my key in the lock and opened the door. The air inside wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold either. It felt tired, like someone who had been up all night, worrying. I walked into the living room and put my hand on the wall. "I'm home," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion. "I'm okay, you can rest now." And in the silence of the house, I felt it, a deep, profound sigh of relief. It wasn't in the air, it wasn't a sound. It was a feeling that ran through the floorboards, up the walls, and into my hand. It was the feeling of a guardian finally knowing its charge was safe. I don't try to explain it to anyone anymore. I don't need to, I know the truth. I live in a house that is more than just wood and nails and wires. I live in a home that is alive. A home that watches over me. A home that waited for me. And I will never, ever take that for granted. It's my house, and I am its person. And we take care of each other. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever had an experience where your home felt like more than just a building, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the strange and wonderful corners of the world. See you next time.